You're listening to Only in Seattle.
You live down south.
Correct.
And your office now is in Bellevue, which is a tricky commute.
Yes.
But one of your job considerations is that you can telecommute and you can come in XYZ days a week.
Mm-hmm. $20 in the jar for the phone ringing, right?
Yes, and that was my phone.
We can't say too much. This is boss man.
Sorry about that. I think Darren used my phone to take some photos, and maybe the volume got kicked up.
But that's important. That was a big part
work-life balance.
That was a big question in my mind. Do I take that position in Bellevue because it is such a commute? I mean, we have transportation issues in our state.
Yeah,
and
massive.
Yeah.
And where are you in Puyallup? Or are you in Tacoma?
We're in Edgewood area.
Edgewood, yeah. Okay, which is next to Puyallup.
It used to be called North Hill Puyallup, so it's on the edge of Milton, right on the border of King County and Pierce County. Right.
No traffic. How long would that take you to get to downtown Bellevue?
Without traffic, it's like maybe 45 minutes. We can breeze, but with
bad traffic, bad Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon traffic, what does that commute look like?
If I go at the wrong time, it could take 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
So on average, it's a little bit over an hour. I take the good to go lane and try to carpool when I can. But
and that's LA traffic.
It really is, and this actually is systemic of the housing issue that we have. So, a lot of us, we say, we have a transportation problem. Well, name one. It's I-5, 405, 167, even I-90 is getting backed up now. But the root of the issue is people have to drive to qualify. They can't buy a home in Bellevue. They can't buy a home in Seattle, so they have to drive to be able to find something that they can afford and have quality of life. And so I was in Senator Fortunato's office down in Olympia, and we were talking about the transportation bill, and that's going to connect I-5 into 167. And so that's going to help the port. It's going to help commerce, traffic a little bit. And he said, so do you think we have a transportation problem? That's what we're there to talk about, transportation issues. And he says, we don't have a transportation problem. We have a Growth Management Act problem. We have a problem with density on can we build in the areas that people want to move. We have to rethink how people live. We've got on the east side, how many empty bedrooms that people are not living in those bedrooms because people, you have empty nesters and they don't want to sell yet.
Investors with vacant homes.
They don't want to change the neighborhoods, the feel. We were at a recent affordable housing summit down in Seattle, and the deputy mayor of Bellevue was there, and she was talking about this, that a lot of people don't want to change their culture or their feel in their neighborhood, right? So whatever that means, right, to them. I don't want to change my neighborhood. But then finally when one sells, that house gets torn out and they put up a 5,000 square foot house, and now the neighborhood has changed, right? The feel has changed. Yeah. So how do we...
And there's that growth pattern going on everywhere.
Yeah, and it's not a one answer kind of a thing, one solution. It's a multitude. Like, how do we create more first-time home buyer opportunities? How do we create more down payment assistance programs? Right. When we've got, for lack of a better term, a lot of it's monopolized. We only have a few programs here in the state, where other states have multiple opportunities for down payment assistance and community second mortgages and so forth. So,
and I think so much of this is because of our tech environment. We've changed pretty dramatically over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Wild changes. And so all the people that commute, we are selling homes in Olympia on the Summit side, and people are commuting into downtown Seattle. And that is not uncommon.
Blows my mind. Yeah.
Olympia to Seattle. Or we've got people commuting in from Bellingham to Redmond, Bellingham to Bellevue. Mm-hmm. Not uncommon. Those are some big commutes.
See, I used to freak out when people tell me, I live in Cle Elum and I'm commuting over to Bellevue. That actually seems like a breeze of a drive compared to
with I-90 being open the way it is. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad commute. Mm-hmm. That's a lot shorter.
But what does that say about the affordability, right? So everybody says, are we going to have another bubble? And I think the only thing that and I would certainly ask your opinion in real estate, is we're running up to the affordability bubble.
Right. People
Homes
can
are-
no longer afford.
Right.
The average person can no longer afford. And that's one of my questions for you is, do you think the Seattle market will have a slowdown like a lot of people are predicting? And I'll give you my answer because you just kind of lobbed that out there. But I think further out, yeah, we could have some slowdown, but close in, you've got too many jobs coming into this area.
Yeah.
Facebook is literally 9 blocks down the road from our office here, bringing in 5,000 employees.
Right.
You know, they each have a family. That's 10,000. That's maybe 20,000 people. Where are those folks going to go?
That's the challenge. Yeah. So
Yeah.
all the jobs, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, you start naming all the tech firms
Yeah.
and all the feeder companies that also are contractors.
And then all the
with
financial
those
companies like yours, like American Pacific Mortgage in downtown Bellevue, in Redmond, Microsoft in Redmond.
Right.
And then South Lake Union just basically dominated by Amazon.
Absolutely.
I mean, these are monster companies, and Amazon in downtown Bellevue. I mean,
And the challenge that, as Deputy Mayor was talking about, was they don't want it in their backyard. We don't want high density housing in our backyard.
Right.
We don't want to change the field.
no.
And the Growth Management Act, King County bought massive amounts of acres from Weyerhaeuser, and they have not been able to build on those areas. So, and they've restricted that. So,
Right.
I think a lot of it, we have the mountains and the water, so we really don't have a lot of dirt.
No.
So we need to use it more
We're
effectively.
geographically bound.
Right. So, we just kind of need to rethink the way that we
Yeah.
live and operate. And light rail, as light rail comes through, we should probably have higher density housing around the light rail station so that people
Right.
can say, hey, I want more quality of life with time. I'm okay living in
Yeah.
a smaller unit and being able to just jump on the train. Right.
Which is what I think you're seeing happen all over Seattle. But because the east side and further out suburban communities aren't really on board with higher density like that, we just keep complaining about traffic.
Right. Which is why Pierce County is one of the fastest growing
Right.
markets.
Yeah, we did a video, Tacoma, hottest market in the United States.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
saw
the
that one.
aroma of Tacoma.
Yeah. I mean, and Tacoma is so huge.
Yeah.
It's a vast area.
Massive
So when you say
metropolitan
Tacoma,
area.
does it mean 38th? Does it mean North Tacoma? Does
Right.
it mean Browns
North
Point,
Tacoma versus
Yeah.
Hilltop.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got
Totally
some
different.
wildly divergent neighborhoods there. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
it's
are you
growing.
seeing happen? Do you think we're up for a slowdown? We've got the affordability issue. You get people loans all day. What are you seeing happen?
Well, I think rates have a lot to do with it. And even though I'm not a refi operation, I do mostly purchases, we're still impacted by the rates being low.
Yep.
And if the rates do start inching up a little bit, that does impact a little bit of the affordability. Some of it's just mental, though, So if I quote a rate in the 3s, it sounds really great. You can brag over the back fence to your neighbor, and oh yeah, I got this great rate. Rates in the 4s, a quarter point difference on the interest rate doesn't really impact the monthly payment that much. It's
Right.
the amount that you're financing.
Yep.
That really is what impacts it. But for me, there was a reason why I said part of the flexibility of being able to operate in the south end and on the east side is because I see the growth that's happening in Pierce County. And I don't want to walk away from that. And so
There's
we're
so
going to
much
continue
happening
an
down there.
operation in the south
Yeah.
end. And that area is growing like crazy. So we're actually sprouting up some branches down in that area too.
Okay.
We just have a new one, new branch manager in Maple Valley. And we're looking at Tacoma. We're looking at a lot of different areas down there. Federal Way is a really good hotbed. It's kind of in
Right.
the middle, South King
It's
County.
on the end of King County, not quite into Pierce County.
Right.
And then Tacoma has just gone gangbusters.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're
So
just
there's
yeah.
a lot of great opportunities. And I think Seattle is kind of the first, my experience has been, we've been kind of the first ones, last ones to get hit by any kind of recession, and
Yep.
kind of the first ones to come out.
Yep.
And so we've been kind of inoculated from some of the other stuff that's happened elsewhere in the country.
Yeah.
Because
For
of
sure.
the jobs, because of the demand.
Yeah. We were insulated.
We were heavily
Other markets
insulated.
were getting hammered in 06. We were still going up in 07.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
we tanked as well, but not as bad. And we've since come
Right.
back
Over and above.
and then some.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a just kind of a sidebar too, is a lot of people are sitting on massive amounts of equity. And so if they're not going to move from where they're at because they're like, well, where am I going to buy?
Where am I going to go?
Yeah. So maybe start thinking about investment real estate, because the rental market has heated up because people can't afford to buy.
Right.
So a lot of my clients are taking some of the equity from their primary residence and putting it into an investment. I had a conversation about a reverse mortgage scenario this last week with George Charles, one of our former WAMP presidents, right, and reverse mortgage specialist, he and his wife, and they're talking about reverse mortgages are not just for, Mary that can't pay her bills.
Right.
These are for people also that are thinking about, I'd like to keep my retirement money intact, and instead of just living off of the equity of my retirement funds when I retire, I want to put in a reverse mortgage and live without a mortgage payment, or even pull money off of the line of credit that grows. And so I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, but using that as a financial tool.
Using the equity in your home to basically finance your retirement instead of just having it sit there.
Yeah.
Because so many people, especially in the Pacific Northwest, have so much equity built up in the home.
So you can buy a fourplex with a reverse mortgage, which is an interesting strategy. So if you're people that are retiring and they want to downsize.
Is there an age requirement to get a reverse mortgage?
There is an age requirement.
Yeah.
And
how old is it?
Yeah. So I don't propose to be an expert on the reverse mortgages, but the numbers really start penciling when you start getting into like the 70s and you start seeing.
Can you get one
because
in your
it's all
60s?
based upon actuary tables.
Yeah.
Right? So you can get them. You can get them at a lower age.
Yeah.
But the actuary tables, it's all based upon longevity.
It says you're going to live
How long
longer.
are you going to live? Are you going to outlive the mortgage kind of thing? And so the actuary table is based upon your age, based upon the equity in the home. That really gives you the details on how big of a reverse mortgage loan you can get. But a lot of people don't know you can buy a home using a reverse mortgage.
Interesting.
So you could sell your existing home, take some of the money, put it into an investment.
Right.
Some of the money, put it as a down payment, and use the reverse mortgage based upon the actuary tables and the calculator and what you can get on that mortgage.
Yep.
And then live, if you need to, mortgage free. But you could buy a duplex, triplex, fourplex with that, and then also live off the retirement income from the rental income. Right. And if you were a really bad landlord and you didn't have it filled, you don't have a mortgage payment to worry about, because it's a reverse mortgage.
Super interesting concept.
Yeah. So maybe we can talk a little bit more in detail about that strategy some other time.
So if people have questions, they need to reach out to Michael Patterson of American Pacific Mortgage.
Shameless plug, right?
Yeah, shameless plug, but that's why you're here. That's why we're having you on. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.